Today we are going to be making ata sauce. Ata sauce is a popular sauce that you find in the western part of Nigeria. When you come to Lagos and you go to restaurants and you go to bukas, you will find ata sauce there and in many homes. You know why? Because it's a versatile sauce. It's just pepper sauce. It is made with mainly pepper and a tiny bit of tomatoes, and you can add your protein. So you can use it for basically anything and everything. You can use it to eat your rice, your fried yam, your fried potato, your eggs, soup, swallow. It is a versatile sauce. We are going to add a bit of twist to it by adding some more proteins like pomo and fish and just spice things up a bit. I get to cook 329 recipes, and one of the recipes included in the cookbook is ata sauce. So join me as we cook a pepper sauce today. So we are going to be needing 12 peppers. You can mix it with atarodo or the chili pepper, those long ones, and 1 big tomatoes and onions. So we are just going to blend everything. But before we start blending, we are going to need oil. So if you remember the last time that we used oil for our chicken stew, it called for 250 ml and it was a lot of oil. So today we are cutting down of that oil. We are going to use just 100 ml of oil today. And the next is our fish. We are using panla dry fish, just 2 of it today. So today we are going to be using pomo for the ata sauce. It has been cut, washed, cleaned. So just like pomo, I used 2, I just cut it to smaller bits. So we need crayfish, big chunks of crayfish. The recipe said 1 cup of crayfish, big dry shrimps. We are going to be using 1 tablespoon of pepper. So we are going to be using the head of the crayfish that we got, the 1 cup of crayfish. We are going to be using the head and we are just going to blend the head, and this is the crayfish, and salt. Lastly, salt. We are going to use salt for the recipe. So you know, normally the cookbook hardly use a lot of seasoning, so it's basically pepper and salt that is the main ingredient, but the seasoning today is going to be the crayfish. So let's start cooking. Now we finish blending, we're just going to turn this out. So you don't want it to be too smooth, you just want it to be, you know, a bit rough. So now it's time to make the stew. So we are using just 100 ml of oil because that last recipe, the oil was just too much. It was too much. We want this to be very hot. The recipe says oil should be very hot. It doesn't say anything about slicing onion, slicing garlic and leaving it to fry. No, the onions has already been blended with the pepper mixture, so it calls for just the oil to be really hot, like really hot, before you pour your pepper mixture to it. And we are going to add our pepper mixture to this. So if you notice that the oil of 100 ml, you can still see that it's still much. It's okay, because if you notice, you see the oil floating on top of the tomato pepper sauce, which is, I feel like it's even still a bit too much. So we are just going to let this boil before we add all our serere and our protein into it. I think it's time for us to add our protein so that they can all infuse together. So I'm just going to add my crayfish to this. And my crayfish. Just mix it all in. Then add the pomo to it. Just again mix it all up together. I'll add my fish to this. So at this point, I'll add a bit of water so everything can just more water so everything can just boil together. So we are done with the third recipe. The atta sauce is ready and we are going to try it with spaghetti and see how it tastes. I'm super excited to try. Anytime I try any one of these recipes, I'm always looking forward to it because there is no seasoning, there's no known spices. It's just something plain and simple. And let's not forget, this is an old recipe book, so it's time to taste it. I feel like most of the seasoning is going to come from the crayfish, and the fish is going to be the seasoning in this particular atta sauce. So it's time to taste it. First of all, I'm just going to taste the sauce on its own. Wow, like wow, this sauce is amazing. Like, this is the third time I'm trying one of these recipes from the book, and everything has been amazing. Apart from the 200 ml, 250 ml oil they are always calling from, that is always ridiculously too much. But aside from that, each and every recipe, 3 that I've tried, has been amazing. Like, this sauce is crazy. It's not so spicy like you would expect it to be, like hot. It's just perfect. Leave Matthias for Matthias. This one slap. Oh, what people will say slap, yenta. I can feel the crayfish, the fish. Like, the addition of the fish was a very good idea. Like, I can feel every one of the flavor. There's nothing competing with anything. Everything is well balanced. You guys need to try this recipe. I'm going to leave detail of the recipe and everything, the direction, everything that you need to do to prepare this delicious sauce that is not so spicy. Don't be scared that because it's pepper sauce, it's going to be very spicy. It's not spicy. It's amazing. It tastes delicious. Mwah. You guys should try it out and recipe tomorrow. Bye for now. So this still makes sense with the spaghetti. Slap.